morning, and welcome to not only a new day, but a new week. I'm JD. You got the Aired Out Podcast, live from Fly on the Wall Productions. So good to have you on board. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you had a great weekend. Caught some football this weekend. I had a drink that I'll never forget. A apple cider concoction that had wine in it, Fireball, and caramel vodka, and it was just a dream come true. I don't know if you've ever had one of those. I don't know what the hell it was called, but it was delicious. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I know that Marcel Gravel did. My God, what a win. What a milk bowl. The weather could not possibly have been any better. And I'm so glad it was this weekend and yesterday and not today. Marcel Gravel is just on top of the world, winning the milk bowl. The pictures, we've got several of them up on the page this morning in the full story, but congratulations leading off with that this morning, Marcel Gravel. We have Dan Moland, who is on the way this morning and going to be chatting with us soon about a massive humanitarian event and effort that is soon going to be underway here in Vermont, and I can't wait to share the details with you on this. For the folks down south, mainly, I'm assuming in Asheville. But we're going to talk with Dan about it in a little bit from the Hope Coalition right here in Central Vermont. He'll be with us on the air momentarily. Today is the first anniversary of the October 7th attack that kicked off this horrific war in the Middle East. Today is going to be marked worldwide with memorials and services honoring the victims. And boy, I'll tell you, all you really have to do is turn your phone on this morning, and you'll see that everywhere. I say this, out of a little bit of caution. Just try not to, try not to dive too deep into it and be too consumed in it, because none of it is very good news at all. And it's hard to see the pictures and to hear the stories, but it's also very hard to believe that this was 1 year ago today. The Vermont road construction report for the week is posted up this morning, and with that, I want to say expect some long delays as I-89 southbound between exits 16 and 14 is down to one lane while crews work a crash scene there. So drive with care this morning. National Weather Service, rain and about 60 today. Cloudy skies, upper 30s tonight. Might want to get that wood stove going. Then it looks like a Tuesday tomorrow, rebounding very nicely. Sunshine and 58, and mostly sunny on Wednesday and about 56 degrees. Want to get some birthdays out of the way this morning. John Lyon. We have Luke Marcheski, Amy Goodwin, Jennifer Dada, Melinda Carpentier. Where is it, Carpenter? Katie Ackerman. Happy birthday to each of you. A lot of stories that are up on the page this morning, including the St. Johnsbury shooting early yesterday morning, the apartment fire in Burlington, the Northern Lights this weekend, which, of course, I missed again. Good morning, Clay, Stacy, Bill, Linda, and the rest of you. We appreciate your eyes and your ears. An iconic cheese company in Vermont is looking to sell, and this is one of the big stories in Vermont over the last couple of days. Lauren Seiler from Ableton On Air Live has the cheesy details this morning. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. A cheese company in called Grafton Village Cheese Company is looking to sell its iconic brand and is looking for capital needed to grow the company. According to the Agency of Agriculture and other people, the Grafton Cheese Company is looking to expand. And the good news is that they even have a new chief cheese or chief executive officer. The Grafton Cheese Company has expanded their product line and has gone to local and international markets and is looking to expand more by expanding their creamery as well. In contrast to this, the Norwich Farm Creamery is also in flux because the Grafton Cheese Company pays their bills and the Norwich Cheese Company is also for sale. And that's all for Abled On Air Live this morning.
All right. Thanks, Lawrence. We appreciate you. Dan Moland is sitting right across from me. Just walked in here, and I got to say, first off, good morning to you. I'm guessing with how busy you are and have been that you didn't get a chance to watch any football last night.
No football last night. But I did get a couple little pictures of the Northern Lights. I one-upped you there anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to set the camera exposure for extremely long exposure, but
you know how to do that kind of stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Messed around with my iPhone a little bit.
My man, you and I have been texting each other over the last couple of days here, and what you're doing, I want to hear all about it. But as I posted up this morning, a major Vermont humanitarian event is getting ready for the people of the South. And I wanted to say, a Hope Coalition event, but it's really a Vermont event because this is what it's turning into. I mean, you spearheaded this. Am I right?
Well, a bunch of the churches have been getting together to find out how we can help people down south. In the repeated floods that we have, one of our most consistent partners has been North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, that's right.
So, we have a lot of empathy, I think, after our repeated flooding to be like, hey, what can we do for our brothers and sisters down there? They just turned out. The very first flood that we had, they were one of the first units to arrive within a week. Yep. They were here on the ground and stayed for a long period of time. And I think after seeing the sort of flooding we had is nothing compared to the flooding that they've had.
Yeah.
And they're not used to having flooding in the western part of the state.
That's right.
In the eastern part of the state, they do have some hurricanes, and they're sort of used to that and prepared for that. But out west, no, not so much. They suffer from a lot of the same issues we have, they have mountainous area.
Yeah, topography is.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so it just channeled and focused a lot of that water down into the towns and villages and whatnot. They're going to have a very, very long-term recovery going
years
on
and
there.
Years and years.
Yeah, it'll be a long, long time. We're talking about out in Plainfield that the Brook Road may not get rebuilt. In North Carolina, I've heard of whole towns that they're talking about not rebuilding. So
I heard this weekend, and it's just. What you see on social media, you can't believe everything that you see, obviously. But what I had seen on social media is some language to the effect of that the Blue Ridge Parkway or large sections of it may never reopen again, according to the National Park Service.
Wow. I hadn't heard that yet. Kathy and I were fortunate enough a few years ago to have run the Blue Ridge Parkway. Absolutely spectacular.
Sure it is.
But some of the drop-offs are pretty extreme too. So rebuilding, I would imagine, in the same vein as the Brook Road in Plainfield, going to be a real challenge to rebuild some of those places. And
Sure.
so our heart really goes out to them.
Mhm.
And, how can we be most effective in that rebuild?
If you're just
effort.
if you're just joining us this morning, Dan Molind from Enough Ministries and the Hope Coalition right here in Central Vermont. The Hope Coalition is something that you created out of the wake of the first big flood that we had on July 10th.
Right. Yeah. It was a combination of the faith community sort of coming together. And there's some members that aren't from the faith community, but it's predominantly the faith community that has gotten together to try to address those flood-related needs. I'm involved with Southern Baptist Disaster Relief, so we were, involved right from the beginning in the mucking out of houses and, mass feedings and those kinds of issues. And we've been asked to put our feeding trailer on alert for deployment. There's some rumor that we would be asked to go down in November, actually to Spartansburg, South Carolina, which is just below Asheville, in an effort to feed the folks down there. So we're sort of gearing up for that, and also trying to balance that because the church does a large feeding with the American Legion at Thanksgiving time. So we usually feed 400 or 500 people then. So we've got a bunch of events. It's shaping up already to be a busy November, and we haven't even started yet.
Yeah, wow. And we're gonna dive into to the latest here in just a second. But before we go there, if we do this in November, where you're going down with all of your equipment to provide all these meals, where does the actual product come from? Where does the actual food come from? Vermont Food Bank or?
No, so during deployments, there are agreements between the Salvation Army and the Red Cross, and basically Southern Baptist Disaster Relief does all the food preparation for those organizations to do the distribution of food. So we have always cooked all the food just like we did up here in the last 2 floods and helped them with the distribution.
Sure.
Oftentimes we buy food commercially, Cisco or those kinds of things.
Okay.
This last flood, we were able to take advantage of some of the foods that the Vermont Food Bank had. But when we operate out of state, we don't have those habitual connections, so it makes it a little more challenging to get that kind of food. We just buy from Cisco or whoever else we need to buy the raw, food ingredients from.
It's got to be pricey.
Food I think is pricey overall, but there's a cost sharing agreement that goes into all of that so that people are reimbursed for the cost of the food, and we don't get reimbursed for volunteer labor or for propane, electric, and gas, and all those other kinds of things. But that's part of our gifting to do that. But we do get the cost of the food reimbursed, and oftentimes we can work with Cisco. A big company like that, they often have near ready to expire foods or whatever that they're interested in providing. And I'm sure in North Carolina they have a lot of food that they ordered up for restaurants that are no longer open.
Right.
So they're grateful to be able to find a new vendor to deliver food and stuff for.
What's happening here in Vermont in the coming days here with what do you have planned?
Yeah, so we have sort of a grassroots effort that has developed in order to get some just essentials down to North Carolina and to help some folks out down there. So we're trying to gather some donated goods that we could put on a tractor trailer truck and ship it down to North Carolina We have a church down there that's just outside of Asheville that's interested in receiving these goods and have given us sort of a wish list of what they want. And so we're eager to get that truck packed and sent down there.
Okay. Where's the truck coming from, and how long will it be sitting to be loaded with goods from Vermonters?
So Hewitt Trucking from Pownell, Vermont, has offered up a truck, driver, and trailer.
Amazing.
And so we're waiting to hear exactly when the truck and trailer is going to be here. Originally it was Tuesday, but there's been some flux in the plan a little bit. But we're still planning on collecting items on Tuesday for loading. The truck is
tomorrow.
Tuesday tomorrow, right?
Okay.
Sooner better, right?
And it's okay to share this info right here.
Yeah, absolutely. You have the wish list there.
I've got it right here. I'm going to post it right in the comments and get it going right away.
Yeah, awesome. So the truck will arrive. We're going to rent a forklift, get it loaded up, and send it out hopefully the same day. But tomorrow will be a collection day. We're going to be operating out of the old Central Vermont Academy building on 297 Vine Street in the lower parking lot there.
Okay.
That's 297 Vine Street in the lower parking lot. And we'll be out there palletizing any of those sort of donations that you would like to send to North Carolina. And I think this is just a way that we in Central Vermont that receive so much benefit from them can pay it back a little bit. So I'm looking forward to getting some collections done.
A lot of this is hygiene stuff and cleaning supplies. One tractor trailer. What if we? It's not
fill
what
up more than a tractor trailer truck.
Well, it's not what if. It's how fast it's going to fill. I mean, we know that we're going to fill this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going into this with great expectation that we're going to not only fill this tractor trailer truck, but double stack the tractor trailer truck so it's floor to ceiling, not just the floor space, but floor to ceiling. I believe that's 56 pallets worth of items. That's a lot of stuff. But we're in prayer and hope that the community would turn out and help us produce a bunch of these goods that we can bless our Southern brothers and sisters with in their time of need.
What time is all of this going to start over on Vine Street tomorrow?
So we'll be there from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay.
And we'll just be set up there on the curb. We'll have some pallets out and stuff so that we can help people unload their cars and put that stuff into pallets and get it ready to go.
And when is the truck pulling out of town?
So we're not sure exactly when they're going to arrive. They were originally supposed to arrive on Tuesday evening, but it may be pushed back a day or two. So I'm still waiting to hear from the trucking company on exactly when they'll arrive. But I'll be sure to let you know.
Okay. Is there even, and I know that the way you operate is you're always a couple of steps ahead of where most things are with stuff like this, because I've seen you do it in the past. What if there's another company that would say to you, "Hey, we want to get a second tractor trailer."
Yeah.
Is that even?
I think in the scope of things right now, with another hurricane headed to Florida and possibly hitting in a very built-up area, there is going to be a need for help for some time. So
Sure.
Whether we redirect something to North Carolina or further south to Florida. I mean, if we can bless people in that manner, I think we absolutely should, right? We should do what we can do for folks that helped us out. Florida came and helped us too during the flood.
Yeah.
They actually sent up another kitchen unit to help us out with mass feeding and stuff during the first flood, and that was wonderful as well. So, yeah, every state east of the Mississippi came here to Vermont during our floods.
To our little state.
Yeah, to our little state, who normally doesn't have that scale of disaster, and now they're in a difficult circumstance themselves, and just being able to repay their thoughtfulness and their kindness and meet their people's need during this time of disasters is super, right? We should all be looking out for one another and caring for one another.
Sure. 297 Vine Street. So that's Hope Coalition.
That is. Yep. That's right up. So it's like opposite the what's the garden place there now?
Thomas.
Thomas Gardens, right?
Yep.
It's opposite Thomas Gardens.
Turn right
go
there.
up right Vine Street right there off of the Barry Montpelier Road.
Mm-hmm.
You sort of get to the top of the hill there, and gym and whatnot is off on the left-hand side, and we'll be collecting goods there at the lower parking lot.
Yeah.
And just in case there are still flood victims that are out there, we also have our case management folks that are at that same location that are helping people out with unmet flood-related needs from both the 2023 flood and the 24 flood, and
that's still ongoing.
You're still ongoing.
Yeah.
And then also the resource center, which we use to distribute goods to local flood victims that are still in need, is also up there and will be open during those same hours tomorrow. So it'll be a busy day up there. The great news is
the weather's going to be good.
The weather's going to be good. Well, that's always good, too. The great news is we're down to around a dozen cases that are left from the 2023 flooding. So we have done almost 200 homes since the 2023 flooding. And
your goal is 100.
Our goal originally was 100 in 100 days. We did 100 homes in 115 days. So it's we're a little bit like, at the end of the coffee pot, you got the grounds at the bottom. It's a little bitter, and these are all homes that are quite damaged and have extensive needs. And we've been working to try to get these last dozen homes done. And then, of course, we have all the homes from the 2024 flooding, and we're trying to assess all those and figure out, who's in need there and whatnot. But the damage, even the damage in Plainfield, although extensive, is nowhere near the 2023 sort of level. And so we're excited that the list of people who need help is going to be much less this coming year. And many of the teams that came to help us out with rebuilding and whatnot, they're not going to be coming to Vermont next year.
Yeah.
So we're going to need more local help, more local volunteers to meet that need, because so many will be going to North Carolina and probably Florida as these things, sort of develop. So
yeah, I mean, look at this. Hurricane Milton right now, projected to make landfall Wednesday. We have evacuation orders for millions of residents right now. 67 counties, and 51 of the 67 are under a state of emergency right at this very minute. And Tampa Bay bracing for potentially its worst hurricane in more than a century. This is alarming stuff, Dan.
it's crazy. The level of disasters that have been hitting all over the United States is just really challenging for folks to be able to respond to, and being, part of that disaster response community. Boy, people are getting worn out. It's a lot of work.
What is the death toll now? It's right around 200, and I think 235 across 6 states. Deadliest hurricane to hit Midland America since Katrina in 2005.
Wow.
And here it is Monday morning, and our friend Chris Autry is on his way to Asheville right now, as I'm sure you probably already know.
Yeah. Many of the churches, especially on the eastern part of the state, have partnered with churches on the western part of the state.
Yeah.
And that has just been a wonderful outpouring of love and support. And, North Carolina in particular is particularly well set up in their disaster response. They're often, on the brunt of hurricanes, especially on the eastern part. And just like we're trying to pour our hearts out for North Carolina as they came to support us, I think many of those eastern North Carolina churches have been feeling the love from the western churches, and they're all headed out there. And so I did see several posts and whatnot from FEMA about how this sort of neighbor-to-neighbor effort has been so effective in trying to really just save lives. I don't know if you've seen some of the people who own private helicopters and airplanes and everything. Just
saw it yesterday in the news.
Flying out there, their own fuel at great expense to help people out. That's a heartwarming, kind of story. And
they're all connected. They know where the airfields are. They know where to land and distribute. I mean, it's so impressive.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. We tend to see on the news night after night just these discouraging stories about, things that are happening. And I don't think these efforts of people just caring for their neighbors has really filtered down into the mass media. There's just so many great, wonderful stories about people just pouring it out and laying it all on the line to help out their neighbors.
We know bad news sells.
Wonderful. Yeah, unfortunately, I would hope that though good news motivates people to good deed, and just like this collection, is a way that we in Central Vermont can help repay just a portion of what was contributed to us during the flood, and pay it forward to them in their time of need.
Dan Moland is the pastor of Enough Ministries, the head chef and bottle washer and cook over at the Hope Coalition. You and your team up there have done remarkable work. And Dan is organizing with his Hope Coalition a big effort here in Central Vermont tomorrow, loading up a tractor trailer with goods. And by the way, we have the list of the hope list, the request list from the area that we will be posting up here on the Aired Out page momentarily, of goods, products, hygiene items, whatever it may be, that you can donate tomorrow between the hours of 9 and 4 right into the back of this tractor trailer that's going to be driving right to Asheville.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Big stuff. It's great to see communities move in such a manner to help out other communities that are in need. So
yeah, and as you let off this morning, you said North Carolina was one of the first parts of the country that was boots on the ground here in Vermont and stayed forever.
Yeah.
And it's not just the Southern Baptists; it's the Mennonites. Help me out here.
Yeah, Mennonites, Adventist Disaster Services, the Amish. We've had a lot of faith-based organizations. The Orthodox Presbyterian Church has sent people.
To
Matter of
Vermont.
fact, to Vermont. Matter of fact, we Nick, an electrician from
Yes.
Washington State,
I remember Nick.
came out again this year to help out homeowners that had to have service panels replaced and wiring removed and replaced and waterproofed and all that kind of stuff. So just a huge outpouring of support for Vermont, and so it's great to be in some small measure being able to repay that, having neighbors taking care of neighbors.
This doesn't seem like a small measure, my friend. I mean, you said over 200 homes that you guys have done what to? Sheetrock?
Yeah, so 200 homes we've actually been in and done some sort of rebuild, and some of those homes are more extensive, involved heating, electrical, and plumbing, and sheetrock and insulation, and the whole 9 yards. And some were less, cleaning out basements and fixing retaining walls, fixing driveways, and on and on. So I've never been in the contractor world. I don't desire to ever be in the contracting world.
Yeah.
But we have been able to harness just a huge amount of volunteer effort in order to help these people who were, lower income, struggling, elderly people, whatever,
Sure.
people with disabilities, single moms, people that would have really struggled otherwise to recover after the flood, to get back onto their feet,
I've asked Autry the same question, and I'll ask you. A 1 year anniversary of July 10th. Were you and I understand, man of God, but also very much a human being and a regular Joe like the rest of us. Did that part ever come out where you're kind of like, what's going on here? I mean, are you serious right now? A little discouragement, frustration. I mean, one year to the day.
I would say no, and maybe primarily just because we were so busy, right? I mean, we just picked up and said, oh, okay, here we go again. We know how to do this. We know how to connect with people. We know that people are in a sort of a dire situation. I had a person in Plainfield that was down on Brook Road and almost lost his home. The water was within like 5 feet of his mobile home, and he's since had to evacuate, no longer lives in that place. But we were using a 15-foot extension ladder to go down through the ravine to deliver oxygen bottles because he was oxygen dependent to his home, and later brought him food and other kinds of things. So we didn't have a whole lot of time because we were already in that, sort of response business to sort of get down to emergency response kind of thing. And so, I think back, during that time, and can we be reflective and say, oh God, why did you do this? I mean, I think we look back to the book of Job, and Job had no easy life, and he was a man of God, and was not a sinless person, but he was a man of God, and he was greatly afflicted all through the book of Job. Lost his house, his family, his belongings, everything, but he never got to the point where he was questioning, well, why me? Why did you bring all this on me? He just remained faithful, and I think that's our lesson, that we need to remain faithful in spite of everything that's happening, and that helps us to grow and deepen our faith, and it helps us to instead of wringing our hands in situations and saying, "Oh, woe is me," to lend a hand to our neighbors. Right? It's hard to wring your hands when you're busy with your hands helping somebody else out, and I think that's the perspective that we all need to take. Right? Is we can sit in worry and doubt and all those kinds of things as all these events are unfolding around the world, or we can get busy and help others out during this time. So I think that's a much more productive avenue.
Wow.
I'm excited about doing that and being part of that.
I'm getting a text message here asking, do you need volunteers tomorrow to help load up this tractor trailer that's going to be headed to Asheville, North
For
Carolina?
sure, we could use some volunteers. If folks want to come out and help out in that effort, I'm sure there'll be, people dropping off stuff. We already have some donated goods that need to get organized. I've got a ton of shrink wrapping that's going to need to happen. So, yeah, definitely if there are folks that would like to volunteer for the effort, show up 9 o'clock or as you can during the day tomorrow and help us get stuff organized up there. I'll be glad to take in as many volunteers as they have time to volunteer for.
And again, the address 297 Vine Street in Berlin.
In Berlin, yep. Don't show up to 297 Vine Street in Barry or Montpelier because
it's different.
It's different. There is actually one in all three cities, and I think over time we've had people show up in all the others and be like, "This doesn't look like where you're at." So, make sure you put in Berlin. For sure.
When you see Thomas Garden, just turn right there onto off of 302 onto Vine Street, and it's maybe half a mile up on the left.
Yep, absolutely.
And there's going to be a tractor trailer there. You're going to be loading it up with all of the whole list of things, a lot of it being what's the word I'm thinking of?
Hygiene
just
stuff,
hygiene.
Basic needs.
Hygiene, basic need stuff. Toilet paper and whatnot, and water. But again, this is going to be stacked. Who's doing all the stacking inside this tractor trailer?
We're going to rent a forklift.
Okay.
And forklift, we'll palletize everything, get a forklift to load it on the trailer so we can make most effective use of all the space that we possibly can. So,
wow.
Yep.
And this truck is going to be pulling out of town when?
Well, as soon as we hear back from the trucking company. I haven't heard back from them. I haven't checked this morning, but it was supposed to be tomorrow evening. But we heard that there might be some delay, so we're not sure exactly when they're going to be able to depart. But
all right,
it'll be soon, and we'll be sure to let you guys know and get that updated too, so we can get some video and pictures of all of that fully loaded. Yeah,
we'll be up there.
Awesome.
Obviously, Aired Out's going to be there, and we'll be streaming live for some of this. What do you think about this Milton storm? This is unbelievable. I mean, I know we were just talking about it a little while ago, but I mean,
I think it points out the importance of being prepared. Even in Vermont, where we're relatively disaster starved, we don't have a lot of disasters. We need to increase our preparedness so that no matter where the disaster strikes, we're more able to help others out.
Sure.
I think that's the real key. If the folks in Florida were listening today, that's what I'd be telling them. Get prepared, get out of the area of danger so that people aren't having to be rescued and all that kind of stuff. All your worldly possessions can be replaced.
Yeah.
Your life cannot be replaced, and that's precious. And so, you've got to treat those possessions with an open hand. And if you lose it, you lose it. But there are people that love and care about you, and so get prepared as best you can. And if you're able to volunteer for efforts such as this, loading the truck or whatever
Please.
it happens to be, feeding people, whatever, during a time of disaster, it's the time for the best side of all of us to come out, right?
Sure.
And just turn out for our neighbors, right?
I am going to be posting the full list of all of the items that have been requested from these folks in Asheville and down south. We'll get that posted up on the website here as soon as we're done. But also just got a comment that people are asking for warm blankets and sleeping bags.
Yeah.
Because it's. I mean, this is in the hills, man. It gets chilly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, their weather is probably only a month or two behind ours. So,
right.
As we're going through, the fall season, their fall season will start about in a month or two. And many of them will be without power, not able to refill propane and oil tanks and all the rest of that kind of stuff. So there are going to be some really chilly folks, down there, dealing with the mud and the cold and all that. So, yeah, my heart really goes out to those folks that are, just struggling to make it by.
Yeah. We'll be there.
Awesome.
We're going to help.
Awesome.
And for the folks that can't be there, we're going to stream live so that they can see what's happening.
Yeah.
But this is going to be quite the operation up there on Vine Street tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
9 to 4.
9 to 4.
One tractor trailer.
At least, as you put it, at least one, right?
Well, I'm just saying, you never know, man. It's like nothing surprises me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people, I think oftentimes people are just like, I want to help. How do I help? Right? I mean, I think a lot of us have seen the news and everything else, and they're just like, man, there's so much need down there. Yeah. But how can I, one little person in Vermont, help out with this effort? Maybe, not able to take off from work or not able to physically go down there, but how can I help? And this is a great way that we can help out. We can repay, some people who helped us out.
Sure. What you're saying right now directly correlates to what Linda just wrote. She says, for people who have Walmart Plus, Instacart, etc., you can place an order and have it delivered directly to the drop-off location on Vine Street tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
Amen.
I mean,
that's another great idea. I love it.
It is fantastic.
People are so creative.
I know. And that's why I love comments like this. 297 Vine Street is the exact address. Is there anything else we need to know?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Of course, if you always want a great meal, come on over to it's not really a soup kitchen. It's an amazing family environment, dining room, if you will, that's downstairs underneath Enough Ministries on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? So, yeah. If there are folks that are in need, or maybe don't have a specific food-related shortage, but they want to come out for the social interaction or to see other people, or maybe they have another need, prayer need or whatever.
Yep.
That is always a great place to stop by
it is.
and to get connected with a great community and have a great meal, share a meal together. It's great to have a little bit of community, right?
Sure.
And so that's a good thing.
Yeah. And that's Tuesdays and Thursdays, right around lunchtime.
Yep. Tuesdays and Thursdays at noontime. Always great food.
Thank you for coming in here.
Absolutely.
And I will see you tomorrow.
Okay.
And I look forward to it.
All right.
It's going to be
great.
We'll
look forward to have you up there.
You always, Dan, you always impress me with everything you're doing, man. And I'm so glad you reached out to me. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on. It's sort of a short notice kind of thing. But,
this is so
I'm like,
important.
hey, if I need to get the word out to a bunch of people, JD's the guy to do it.
Thank you, my man.
All
I
right.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
again.
Yeah, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Our community calendar, we're going to shift gears here. Brought to you by The World, of course, Central Vermont's favorite weekly newspaper, reaching over 22,000 people every single week. Do not miss the digital version online at vt-world.com. So much in there right now. Of course, dinner at the Legion, post 10 right here in the Granite City is served up tomorrow night at 5:30. They ask you, it is dine in and take out, but they ask you to give a quick phone call over first and just let them know that you're going to be there. I think it's cheese stuffed shells, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow on the menu. But they've got the menu always posted up in the World newspaper. Bingo starts right after that at 6 o'clock. So good time at the American Legion on Tuesdays. Of course, Wellness Wednesday. You know we're going to be talking about it a lot. Upstairs over at Summer Street. Starts up at 4:30, goes till 7 o'clock, absolutely free. If you would like to book a massage or Reiki, they ask you to call ahead and schedule an appointment for that. But again, it is free, 479-4055, and that, again, is Wednesdays. Acupressure and acupuncture is walk-in. And it's just a wonderful thing that Washington County Mental Health has been doing for such a long time. Wellness Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, starting at 4:30. Drew Lamb in Central Vermont, Cars and Coffee, had a great car show yesterday. And they're going to be doing it again on the 13th over at KOB Kitchen and Bath, right there in front of KOB Kitchen and Bath. Starting about 9 in the morning. If you got a classic, if you got something that's beautiful, bring it over there. It's going to be amazing. It always is. They do such a great job. Let's see what else is happening. We have all kinds of like craft fairs and stuff that's going on. The Williamstown Chicken Pie Supper is Thursday night at the United Church at 5 o'clock. We got the Contra Dance at the Tunbridge Town Hall on Friday night, the 11th. These are all things that we're seeing in the World newspaper. Open mic night at the Den on the 9th with Donna Thunder. Proceeds will be going to the Wounded Warrior Project. Donna's so great. She does such a great job. Let's see. Looking ahead here, of course, the 4th annual Trunk or Treat at Preston's Kia is Friday the 25th. Again, that'll be from 4 to 6 with costumes and prizes. The kids are going to be having a great time. Always good music and good times and great memories, not only at the Trunk or Treat at Preston's, but also Malloween at the Central Vermont Marketplace. Also on the 25th from 4 to 6. This is the opportunity for the kids to get out, get dressed up, little dress rehearsal for Halloween, and they're going to have an absolute blast. Also looking ahead, the Kitzmiller Memorial Coat Drive and Distribution Saturday the 26th at Community National Bank in Barrie from 9 until noon. This is the actual distribution, not the donation, but this is when you collect the coats. The 26th in Barrie, again, Community National Bank from 9 until noon, and then in Montpelier, same day from 9 till 2 p.m. This past Saturday, huge success, I was told, over at Fontaine Traditions at Fontaine Meadows for their giant sale on local meats that they had from noon to 7. They're going to do it again this coming Saturday. U.S. Route 2, less than 100 yards past the junction of routes 2 and 14. But yes, grass-fed beef, $7 a pound for 10 pounds or more. And they're taking 15% off all beef cuts while supplies last. And that inventory was moved through quite a bit this past Saturday. So I'm guessing they're going to do this a few more times, and while supplies last, and that's going to be it. But yes, we'll be talking about it. We'll be posting it up. I want to give a shout out this morning to one of our sponsors that is all over social media: Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Instagram. They're everywhere. KOB Kitchen and Bath. Their cabinets speak for themselves. If you haven't been over there, you really should. Berlin, Route 302, right next to Aspen Dental. Info at kobkitchen.com. You ought to stop in there and check it out. And speaking of bathrooms and homes, if you have an idea for your home and you would like to get an appliance in there, give Tetros a ring. Top quality service, skilled technicians that have been serving Central Vermont for almost 40 years. Visit their showroom, Tetros Home Services, right there on Morrison Road in Barrie, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5, Fridays, 8 to 4. Tetros, yes, Mark Tetro. Everyone loves that guy. Everyone. Coming up November 10th is the next CDL course with Giroux General Transport. Yes, November 10th. It'll be here soon. Reserve your spot today. Don't wait on this. 279-3325 is the phone number to call. Tracy's going to answer the phone. Make sure you get your permit before the class. But if it's Class A or B or whatever it may be, this is the time to shift gears literally and figuratively in your life and make a difference, not only in your quality of life, but also, frankly, your pay. There are companies that are hiring drivers before they've even received their CDL courses, their CDL license, before they've even finished the course. So get in touch with Tracy over at Giroux General Transport. November 10th, again, is the day. That's the next course that they're doing. I got a chance to do a little bit of tailgating this past weekend at a football game on a Blackstone griddle from Nelson Ace Hardware, and I got to tell you, it was just perfect to lay out the spread of onions and sausage and peppers. If you don't have one of these Blackstone grills, get over to Nelson Ace Hardware. They've got them. NelsonAceHardware.com. They're open up, right now. Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 6. Saturdays, 7:30 to 5. And when things don't go right and you need a Sunday, they got you covered too. Sundays from 9 to 1. Nelson Ace Hardware. Fecto Homes, they have a display over there that is absolutely amazing. I've taken some pictures recently and posted them up. Not just the blue modular, but which I have fallen in love with, but some of the others. If you are dreaming of owning a home, you want to maybe look to upgrade something that you have, this is the time to do it right now before any colder weather comes in. Fecto Homes. Get over there on the Barrie Montpelier Road, right next to Tractor Supply. Have a look. Maybe even schedule a tour of something if you would like. But they're open all the time. 8:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. Saturdays 9:30 to 4. 350 River Street in Montpelier. And I think most of us, if not all of us, know where Fecto Homes is. But yes, wonderful people. Been around since the 70s. They know what they're doing. They'll get you into your new home. Listen, thanks, Lawrence Seiler, for hopping on with us this morning to give us some news. We appreciate your eyes and your ears. Thanks to Dan Molind from Enough Ministries and the Hope Coalition for coming in this morning and talking about this unbelievable effort, this humanitarian effort that is going to take place tomorrow up at the Hope Coalition on Vine Street in Berlin, where they're going to attempt to load up a tractor trailer from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. with items, much needed items for the folks in Asheville, North Carolina. And then this truck is going to be pulling out of town shortly and headed straight there. So if you'd like to volunteer, if you'd like to help, if you'd like to donate something, tomorrow is your opportunity from 9 to 4, 297 Vine Street, the lower parking lot right there at the Hope Coalition in Berlin. And we will see you there because we'll be broadcasting and streaming live so you can see what's happening. And volunteering, help it out too. Be well, everyone. Take good care. Rain in the forecast today, but an improvement coming tomorrow. We're looking at temps rebounding a little bit and right up against 60 degrees tomorrow with sunshine. But we do need a little rain. We do need weather like this every now and then. I think it's beautiful. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless.